right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We got game number 3 upon us here. Of course, Team Excellent taking on Team NK. What a series it's been so far. Very interesting series indeed. Team Excellent taking the first series by Nox's Dark Lady especially. Having a great performance there. Team NK though, we had to get with a little bit different style of push strategy, but definitely a good amount of push, and it worked out much better in game number 2 to say the least. Thus why we are here. So once again, joined by Diglett as my co-caster. We got a game 3. You think NK, are we going to see a push again? I mean, it seems like they're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of their play style. They've taken a really nice liking to Rhapsody, and I'm not sure if they'll do the Rhapsody MOA combo again. But they like that strategy where they just, kind of go all-out push, and they go for the Keeper again. They like him as well. I think Insania just prefers Keeper.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with it if you know what you're doing, and I don't know. He can play greedy Keeper, but at the same time, last game we saw he can be aggressive and he knows when to push. So he plays it well, and if they know how to get the right timings as far as pushing goes, and Zubi keeps up the aggression, they'll do it really, really well. But they just need to, win all of their lanes, and then they can train.
Well, what I was thinking about though, I mean, as far as bans go from Team Excellent right here, they banned the Pestilence and then the Ophelia. I was thinking, why not ban Keeper the Forest though? I mean, obviously they've ran the first 2 games now. Again, their idea of they want to push Keeper is great with that. I guess Ophelia could definitely be powerful with that as well, but maybe the Keeper instead of the Pestilence even. But obviously, it's up to them in the end. It obviously feels that Pestilence is a little more dangerous, but could you see that happening, or are you fine with the way he banned here?
I think it's fine. Pesty's a really strong hero, and LezQQ, I'm not sure how much he's played, but he takes a liking to that hero. He's comfortable in those just, I guess kind of slow, just strength initiators. So Pesty, Meraxis, even Kraken a little bit. Like he's not that, he's not looking to farm a lot with that. So banning that is fine. Pesty, I would argue, is the strongest initiator right now, especially with that debuff with his ulti. And banning out Ophelia is fine. I would argue Ophelia is the strongest jungler. The things you can do with her and the amount of push and action you can get out of her is ridiculous, especially in the hands of a good Ophelia player. So, and not allowing them to first pick it is smart.
Yeah, don't want to give that one up. So they get to keep the Force in the end. They get the War Beast on top of that. So obviously, once again, the idea of being able to get group together and push is most certainly there. But War Beast also brings that carry presence, and the laning phase definitely shaping up fairly nicely. Airkeeper jungle, you got your Solos and Bubbles and War Beast. We'll see what their dual lane ends up being here most likely. But by the way, the winner of this series, they are going to be playing Stay Green, as I mentioned earlier. Stay Green, they did take their series 2 games to nothing over ice. So the winner of this will play Stay Green in the winner bracket semifinals. But again, it also puts them in a little bit better spot to get that 3rd place spot in the overall standings, which again is very, very important as we keep stressing. How about Excellence picks though? They went with the first pick, Rhapsody. It really goes to show you just again how much this hero's just exploded onto the scene. First pick, Rhapsody. Gemini's the follow-up, and then Parasite to finish things up. So they're going to get the Gemini in the hands of Nox here. Talk about another hero that we see a lot of recently. So they're valuing the Gemini here.
Yeah, and people. I would argue that people have been not playing it to the extent that the hero can really be played. They really haven't been abusing the maximum potential of Gemini. Farming in 2 forms, and maximizing those stats and getting the right item builds. So I would say that people could play it better, but people have been playing it a lot. I've seen a lot of people in TMM just practicing it, just because people realized how strong it is. And late game, there's not many carries. If not, the only one would be Wild Soul that can, go toe-to-toe with a maxed out Gemini, just because you can end up selling your boots and you can have the strongest items in the game and be at max movement speed and do tons of damage, have armor penetration. Like, the hero's nuts.
Yeah.
So I would argue that only Wild Soul can deal with it late game, because you get 12 items on Wild Soul. And you go double bashers and crazy stuff like that. But if you can't deal with it early on, it really becomes a problem. So NK really needs to force the issue here. and Strange picking up Bubbles and Hag and a Warbeast. So they're gonna
Wow, yeah.
do a lane of Bubbles or a Hag, which is a little bit strange. But
Huh.
I think they're just gonna go, balls to the wall, and
Well,
just go
sorry.
on. No, I was just gonna say they're gonna go for it and just try to stop this Gemini, but I have no clue what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I was also caught up with that Polywalk pick, honestly. I was like, oh, Polywalk Priest, and I hear but yeah, you're right. I mean, those 3 solos, that is interesting to see over there, so we'll see how that shapes up. But how about, I mean, Polywalk Priest coming out here for Team Excellent, obviously with the Raps here. I mean, so definitely going to be more of a farming Polywalk Priest, I guess even more of a middle lane, or what, I don't know, I think tri-lane possibility could be
Yeah,
coming out here, pseudo tri-lane with the Parasite.
I see it as more of a solo to deal with the Bubbles or the Warbeast because it can kind of shut him down. They may even suicide the Poly, knowing that he's going to be against a solo based on their picks, but I really don't know. You can even suicide the Gemini. It's actually really popular in TMM because you can just Twin Fangs away from anything and nobody can really chase you down. And the amount of stats that you get is nuts. You just get max movement speed really early on.
Yeah.
So it's really strong. And Cersei being picked up, again, I think that's their plan to deal with Gemini, is just Cersei ulting Gemini, hoping that he takes all of his items and kills him.
If it happens to get you that very late game and that point, I guess that's the other hero that can contend with Gemini late game. Cersei.
Yeah, Cersei. Gemini
Yes,
can
just
contend with Gemini.
He contends with himself. There you go. Yeah, so that's the answer that they're going to go. I'm still intrigued by this lane. I'm really curious to see how they ultimately lane things over here on Team NK. Because obviously you got the Keeper of the Jungle for the jungle's phase, but you would think Warby Suicide. It's just, I guess, something like Cersei with the Wretched Hack bottom and then Bubbles for that solo mid. But how about the final pick, too? I mean, Scout coming out with the final pick for Team Excellent. Let me just make sure I actually change the interface correctly here. There we go. You can actually see the game. That's a good thing. All right, so, but yeah, Scout coming out for Team Excellent with their final pick. It's going to be played by Keizu. And, of course, very likely going to end up in that Suicide role here when it comes down to it. But thoughts on the Scout pickup, especially after the nerfs that it received?
Yeah, after the nerfs, this hero really fell out, especially with, people realizing Grenix's potential and even Kraken being a really strong suicide and stuff like that. So, there's other heroes that, in my opinion, are a little bit better. But I think Scout's a nice pickup here because it can deal with the Warbeast if Warbeast ever gets farmed, because he can just disarm him. And when Cersei steals Gemini, Scout can disarm him as well. So Scout's still a really good anti-melee carry with that disarm. Although the Electric Eye got nerfed and Vanish got nerfed, so your potential to roam and be utility got hindered a little bit more, but Keizu's a good Scout player, so I still see him being a pain and being really active in terms of placing eyes and silencing all over the map. And your ulti's still really strong, so...
Pause going to be coming out here, but yeah, it just seems like it took him away from that immediate, like, we need to either ban him initially or pick him first phase is what those nerfs did. But yeah, so still has potential, as you're pointing out, especially with that disarm ability when it comes down to it. Zergo playing the Polywalk Priest. He is going to end up in the middle lane, it looks like here. He's going to be matched up against Bubbles, so Polywalk versus Bubbles. Been a while since we've seen that matchup, I feel like, but definitely has its history in the competitive HoN scene back in the no-till days of Fnatic, that's for sure. But I guess, what would you be insight on that? I mean, Bubbles versus Polywalk nowadays, do you see a favorite for either side?
It's fairly even, but I see both of them being really aggressive with their spells, just burning their mana pool to just harass the other one down. Poly can't really ward trap Bubbles successfully. I mean, he can, but Bubbles can escape out of it. So Bubbles may not really die that often, but he'll still do okay in terms of farm. But yeah, this is, a really old matchup if anyone remembers seeing one of these types of matchups where the Poly soloed mid. It's been a really long time.
Yeah. I mean, true 1v1 mid is again, obviously just it hasn't been a thing for the longest time as far as being a consistent thing, at least. So, let alone to get a matchup like this. So, yeah, it is kind of cool seeing that, seeing it come into play right here. Happens to be here for a very important game once again. Again, game number 3. Obviously, the winner moves on to play Stay Green. The loser dropping down to the loser's bracket. Bottom lane, Scout's going to do a scout thing early on, has that vanish active, and going to look down to get down, or look to get down the ward of sight, which he does right there. So going to block the pole camp, make it difficult on pulling anything here. Cersei obviously going to see about boxing anything out, but not going to be able to effectively happen. Again, I'm very interested to see what Cersei ultimately is able to perform here. Being at the bottom lane, kind of a babysit for the hag. You see, it puts the, what is that even called? The entrapment, of course, on the scout right there. But Scout's like, oh, right, not a big deal. I'll just keep going. Just going to get as much damage as possible. So, yeah, going to be annoying to deal with, as usually is when it comes down to that. Then, of course, there's the top lane. Gemini, expect him to have free farm against the War Beast yet again. That case of War Beast just there for the polling, staying alive, and getting the levels. That's what it comes down to. So, yeah, I'm actually, again, curious to watch this middle matchup here. In the end. I mean, Parasite being played by Pew again. We mentioned the first game. He wasn't too active early on. You expect that to be different this game, or more of a passive, just farming playstyle here?
No, I see him as being more of a passive. Probably can definitely hold his own against Bubbles. So it's not really needed, and Nox is just going to free farm top. So there's no really need for him to be aggressive, so just let him get the levels that he needs to really guarantee kills, rather than just wasting a lot of time running around trying to set things up that really won't lead to anything.
Yeah. Also keep an eye on Insania's build, playing the keeper. You talked about that last game, how going more of the greedy Ent boots initially. It's the last game we went the Nature's Veil instead, and it seems like that was pretty useful, so wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of build once again here. Here to finish things off here in game number 3, but okay, keep an eye on that. Cersei, it seems like she's playing more of a jungle assistant here than an actual laning assistant. She's actually stacking the camp here next to the 2-minute rune that's going to be spawning. It happens to be a refreshment rune. Top rune is going to be double damage actually, and that one's going to be picked up by LesQQ playing Bubble, so it's going to be good timing for him. But yeah, I guess Cersei is just finding her spot being stacking in the jungle at this time, being useful somewhere.
She tried getting the ward bottom, but she missed the counter, so she just wasted a little bit of time, so might as well stack while you're doing that. But Hag can handle Scout alone, just boxing him out and harassing him enough. Scout has a ton of pool regen anyway, so might as well just let Hag get the levels to really, out-damage the Scout and just help keep her in the jungle.
I mean, is that a little bit of a concern, though? She is obviously leeching experience from Keeper of the Forest in this case. Again, ultimately, you got to get her some experience somewhere, but I'm actually going to tank this even right here a little bit and eventually have to fall back. But is that a concern that your Keeper of the Forest is maybe being nerfed here?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. It's not taking that much experience. Only got, like, I would imagine... Ooh.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that, but Xebe, for some reason, finds himself off into the jungle right there. I think he was just maybe kind of poking in, looking to harass, but all of a sudden, he got collapsed on. So, again, I didn't catch that as all started, but Warbeast gets picked up at the top lane. That is big. That's a good start there for XCet.
Yeah, and I actually saw him level 1. He was at the well, or walking from the well really early on. I'm not sure why. Like, too late. Like, he was still pulling the first wave. So I think he messed it up a little bit there. I guess his experience with Warbeast. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But yeah, getting picked off there, I would assume that he was trying to catch because his wolves were going to despawn or something like that. So that's really strange.
Well, that is big. So, but again, go back to Keeper of the Forest. Like I said, it was just maybe for that small time right there. And obviously, Keeper, again, he is, for the most part, doing his own thing. Cersei is still level 1, though. So, I mean, that itself is something of a little concern, you would think. I mean, Cersei, of course, I guess she's not the most dependent on levels, but at the very least, she needs level 6. And that eventually comes. So, but yeah, definitely not very level dependent. So I guess it's not the biggest deal in the world for her. But look at the top lane. They are diving this Warbeast big time. Gemini really wants this kill. Rhapsody comes in with staccatos, and Warbeast knows he's in some trouble right here. Yes, he is going to be picked off. Good execution from Team xCet as they pretty much dive Warbeast again. So Xebe is finding himself all of a sudden in a very, very tough spot. So much for the idea of as long as you just don't die, you're accomplishing your goal here.
Yeah. And Insania's actually going to be in a little bit of trouble. Like, he's only level 4, which he kind of got shafted because of the spawns. He's constantly being in Catman, which are really, really rough. And Keizu placing that eye is really going to screw Keeper over. But he did level the Invis, so he can get away. So kudos to him for playing it right, learning from last game that getting the invis is really important.
Well, as you're talking about, right, as we saw right there, even, I mean, especially also with a pretty active suicide hero, such as Scout, who can constantly be roaming in there. Yeah, the last thing you want is to not have your invis, and all of a sudden he just jumps you and just kills you because you're not able to just press Q real quickly. So, yeah, having that definitely coming into play right there, and back to farming he goes. As far as getting the Minotaur. So yeah, his start hasn't been the best against Cersei still. What you see right here again, though, Scout's going to open, actually, Keeper the Force, but there's the Electric Guy coming out. Dust is going to be used. Nice Immobilize going to be hit by Cersei right there. With the entrapment, Scout still wants this kill. He tries to get close enough. Keeper the Force kind of tempting him. He uses the Nature's Spell again, and he's going to be fine. So very close right there. In the meantime, Gemini gets another kill on a Warbeast. Look at Scout. He's coming back in, by the way. Keeper, they probably know something might be up, that he might be in the vicinity. He's going to go for the opening. There's the opening. One more attack. Yes, he gets it off. And Insania falls. And that was a tough spot, though. It's one of those cases they probably knew he was somewhere nearby, but, what could they do? So, Scout makes it work, and xCet's really starting to get a snowball start here.
Yeah, and they weren't able to pick off Bubbles mid. I'm not sure if you caught it, but...
no.
Pew came in with a Wild Hunter, and they almost got it off. But yeah, that's just Bubbles being able to be the passive hero he is. And I'm not sure what happened top. I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah.
But Nox picking off Warbeast again. He's not really doing that well. Getting picked off 3 times is actually pretty big. And it's allowing Gemini to get a lot of farm. A lot more gold than he would normally be able to. And see, he can just dive like this. Like, it's crazy.
Yep, he's just going to Warbeast. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I could just run around in circles and hope that they just run away for some reason, but no, that didn't happen. So Team Excellent, another easy kill with a dive. This is going to be a tower kill most likely too. Meanwhile, middle lane, Zergo gets picked off, but the marksman shot to snipe out Les QQ. So at least KZ gets a little bit of revenge for his fallen teammate right there. But yeah, Polywalk Priest, he is level 6, wasn't able to get wards off or anything like that. Before he died. So obviously I was watching the top action while that took place, but there's the top tower kill in the meantime, and look at Gemini's GPM all of a sudden, 480 gold per minute. I mean, you made a strong point that this hero, you do not want to let it going, or else he will just strongly take over the game skills very well. And it is happening for Team Excellent. So again, a little bit of sign of life there with the kill on the Polywalk in the middle lane, but is that really going to be the start of something here for Team NK? I don't know if it is, so. And actually, bottom lane has going to be trapped right here. War Trap comes out. There's a tongue tie. The Electric Jolt is enough. Obviously, War Trap not the most effective against a hack, but with the tongue tie on top and then the Electric Jolt to follow, it does get the kill. So good timing by Zergo right there, and he gets another pick to happen.
Yep, really well played by him. But yeah, look at how screwed over Zibby got that he now needs to come in the jungle because he can't even go top anymore.
Look at Scout, he's just sitting all Scout. He's gonna be collapsed, and 4 players collapsed to pick him off. Oh man, he's been having a good time. Casey's just loving life, harassing and whatnot, and trying to go for another kill right there. But all of a sudden, 4 players sandwich on him. So I mean, that kind of goes to what you're talking about with Warbeast being in the jungle. Even because of the circumstances, so it does pay off there at least. But obviously, that's just one battle in a very big war right now for these 2 teams. So gonna resurrect to be fine, but Parasite, he's also playing the stealth-like man, and actually he's gonna find Warbeast right here. He won't be able to do enough damage himself, but yeah, he's not gonna go for it. He's kind of filling out the surroundings, I guess. Getting an idea. Scout is coming in, so this could be something here. He does have the marksman shot. They may want to go middle, actually. Oh, LesQQ's in trouble. There we go. Facetuck comes out, and he's dead. Does he turn into a penguin, by the way? I've never noticed that.
Yeah, with that avatar, they turn into a little penguin, and
awesome.
He uses the morph. It's actually really cool.
That's pretty funny. So, another pick, and it's safe to say this ganking mentality is going to start picking up more and more now for Team Excellent.
Yeah. As long as they stay aggressive and keep forcing the issue, Team NK is going to have a lot of trouble, especially with that Warbeast. Like, he is just a moving pile of gold, as you can see, being picked off between the 2nd and 3rd tier tower by Scout. Like, he is having a really rough time. And, if they keep getting gold there, all they need to do is just buy time. And the lead that they have now, it's going to be really hard for NK to come back from this. And, it's going to be a really big problem, having Gemini just free farming.
Now, Keizu, he might get picked off. He dodged the Shell Surf. He also dodged the Bat Blast, it looks like. He's alive for now. He's still running. but it's not going to be enough. The dust lasting long enough, and so again, Kaysen, you know, the fact that he was even all the way over there probably deserves to die. Let's be honest, but. It also did take 3 Heroes Ultimate got a collapse. He did get a kill, as you pointed out, xCet there just before, so he's still pretty happy with the end result, I'm sure. But yeah, this is definitely feeling like one of those games. It's just like an ugly game for Team NK. Nothing's really meshing together. I mean, it's one of those cases where going into it, we're like, how is this strategy going to work? And, you know, as a caster, you're like, well, I'm hoping that I'm going to be surprised because, you know, these guys obviously top-tier players and everything. I wasn't really surprised. I mean, they just tried to really make it work in the end with what they had. They didn't really have any special strategy, clearly. And it kind of, again, it has fallen apart. So, Team Excellent, they're just doing what they know best. Just, you know, roaming around, setting up kills, getting the farm on Nox. As always, important. And that is definitely happening. I mean, the Firebrand is already in the works. On top of the Energizer and Steam Boots. So I mean, he could definitely be involved in fights if they take place, but they're not taking place right now, at least in NK's favor, so he's just continuing to farm in the meantime. I guess where I'm ultimately getting at here, Diglett, is what the hell can NK do here? I mean, is there, like, what do they need to do? They are looking at Roman gank here, I guess, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's all they really can do, is group up and hope that they get the advantage somewhere, like having a 4-on-3 or something like that. But, I mean, Keizu, although he died those couple of times, he bought so much time. I mean, Hag TP'd to mid tower from just free farming bottom and missed his ulti, and Bubbles used his ulti and Keeper walked over there, so they're just buying time right now. That's all they really need. And they're going to try to set up something on Nox here, but I don't think they're going to kill him.
He's trying his little Song of the Sea. Yeah, he spoke too soon, I think. Entrapment comes out. And,
curse.
Yep. Never say never, damn it. Well.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty big, but at the same time, you know, they're going to need a lot more than that to be able to get something going. Because, again, Pew broke his boots going for that earlier Codex, just getting it earlier and allowing for earlier team fights. Pauly picked up his PK, yeah. He has his PK now, so that's pretty big as well. Just initiation, and then the amount of burst that they have can pretty much take out anyone on the Legion team.
Yeah, the gank again, most certainly there. You see Parasite, this is another thing too. He loves those Hellhounds. He actually takes it over right here, and he's going to chase back Warbeast. The Warbeast is like, wait a second, that used to be mine. Long live you. So he's just going to fall back with it, and not much action going to come of it. But yeah, obviously Nox getting dying up here. He's just back to farming, cleaning up the Keeper trees even. So picking up the more farm. We talked about the Portal Key on Zergo playing the Polywalk Priest. Also that level 11 mark coming here in the near future. So maybe some tower push going to come with that perhaps. Maybe look towards the middle. Was that a... No, that was just an illusion. I thought that might have been an actual kill, but just the illusion picked off right there. Chris Sir says he levels up. He's still not level 6 yet, and actually he's going to be found right here. You talked about that Codex. We're probably going to see that come into play right here. Maybe they're going to go for Bubbles instead. Yeah, they want the better target. They're going to go for the burst. Will it be enough? No, it's not enough, actually. They react. Okay, it is enough in the end. Here comes the Protective Melody. Not going to be enough, though. Could not get close enough. And Parasite falls as well. So Team NK, they are fighting strong right here. Rhapsody in the meantime, he's running back. Polywalk Priest over the party. He has roots. Can he get it off, though? Look at Cersei takes him over there. The Morphling comes out, and down goes Polywalk. Triple kill for Insania. Give it the hat trick, and now they're going to push middle as Cersei spawns the Polywalk wards. Holy crap! I mean, Team NK. Well, they're making something happen here all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was actually a really big misplay by Keizu. I'm not sure what happened, but that electric eye in the camp, he should have used that to silence, and they should have just blown up Cersei and called it a day. So I'm not quite sure what was going on there. But that was actually pretty big. Orbeus got his Abyssal Skull from that, and Insania got a hat trick. So that's actually what they need. I mean, again, they still have Gemini. So the longer this game goes, the bigger of a problem NK is going to have with Gemini. So, but yeah, those 3 kills in that tower, you know, again, it's just going to buy them more time. And Pauly got ulted by Cersei, but he still has his ulti, so they can still set something up.
That's true, yeah, he still has his own, so it doesn't make his go on cooldown. That'd be crazy. Could you imagine? As if that hero needs more. But yeah, I think again a good way to put it is after that fight, you're still liking Team Excellent, but if anything, Team NK just made a point that okay, well, this game's not over. I mean, we're still gonna be here, we're still gonna be alive, and we're still gonna fight stronger now as we do pass that 15-minute mark. So, but you got the Gemini, as we keep referring to, nearly 500 gold per minute has been on him. He has more than enough for a Firebrand. I'm a little surprised he hasn't bought it yet, honestly, but. Cleaning up the triple stack ancients in the meantime, so obviously a lot of far from there. Okay, wow, going the light brand actually. I guess you can say a little bit greedy there to an extent, but light brand first after the quick blade purchase. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly like that. I mean, it's just gonna allow him to farm more. He didn't actually get it on the courier. I'm not sure how long it'll take before he realizes that he doesn't have it, but maybe he does have the Firebrand. I didn't see him buy it, so I don't think he has it in his base.
No.
But yeah, it's just gonna allow him to farm more. I mean, they have the late game, but big pick off top. I'm not quite sure what happened.
Choo choo, motherfucker.
Yeah, I saw Wretched Act there, and all of a sudden Scout's dead, so not sure either,
Yeah.
but clearly she comboed for a kill right there. And
But yeah, Hack's going for the Hellflower. It's gonna be more aggression, but I don't think it's gonna really help them at all.
So you prefer the light brand Grimoire this game?
I'm not sure if Grimoire would be the right option. I think Sheep would be a little bit better. Like, I see Hellflower as being a counter to Shrunken Head, and I don't see Gemini needing a Shrunken Head this game. I think he would be fine just going for... I mean, if he went Geometers, obviously he's not, because he has the Light Brand. But if he just went Geometers, he can, you know, use Geos and split in and out and purge all of the debuffs from the Legion, the Keeper Root, the Hag Haunt, and deal with it that way. So he doesn't actually need a Shrunken Head, so yeah. I think Sheep's a little bit better. Allows them to get more pickoffs. But Hellflower will prove nice against Rhapsody, so we'll have to see with that.
Yeah. Yeah, Sheepstick is one of those funky items, as good as it is. As far as the first item goes, I mean, the build-up is so clunky. A Blessed Orb into an Acolyte Staff, and then Mana Tube is like... Those stats individually are doing you the most efficient things, basically. So, obviously, the build-up of a Hellflower is a lot more efficient, so maybe the idea that hasn't been the most overwhelming game. They are behind, perhaps the logic too, but in the end, yeah, he is going to be going the Hellflower. The bottom lane, the tower, it's going to be heavily pushed in, and Excellent's not going to stop this, actually. In fact, Wretched blinks in on a Polywalk Priest right there. His Bubbles maybe going to jump in. No, he's not. Just a Shell Surf, and that'll be the end of that. So, nice little tower push coming out from Team NK. And again, if anything, they've really slowed things down. And I mean, KZU's died a couple of times here in these last couple of minutes. And it seems like NK has gotten more and more working for them. Bubbles is actually going to juke away for the time being as well. So, yeah, a lot of it is going to come down to this Rhapsody build, too. And, you know, how much of an impact this is going to have coming up from Mentioned Hag. And obviously, they have Keeper the Forest. 2,800 gold saved up, by the way. I'm just realizing that, but... I think a full Resto Stone could very likely be in the works here. Never mind. He gets the Portal Key first. So, go on the PK. What do you think about that? I mean, he was saving up for maybe even a full Resto Stone first, but gets the PK instead.
I actually think he would need the Resto Stone. I mean, in terms of stats, they're not too far behind, but they do have that Gemini to deal with, so they just need more lockdown.
Bubbles, middle lane. Song of the Sea comes out, and that's going to be the saving grace. Polywalk Priest, you know, he knows it too. He should have tongue-tied as soon as he could, because he wanted to wait for the morph to be off, and as a result, Song of the Sea Silence came out, and it prevented the tongue-tied. So, good getaway from Lusky Q, definitely right there, but I think a little bit of a misplay from Zergo in the process. And the more kills you miss like that, especially if you're Team Excellent here, again, just if anything, you're just buying more time for Team NK to calm down and get back in. So, but you would have liked the rest of the stun again, though. He went the Portal Key, though, on Keeper.
Yep. I mean, he'll still find good use for it. It'll allow for good initiation, but I don't really think they need it. Because if they just take smart team fights, they'll do really well, especially if he had a Resto stun.
Yeah.
But, you know, he'll still do okay. He went for the Plated Greaves, which is good. Just giving him more armor. And just, you know, he has a little bit more presence with the Portal Key. But we'll see what he does with it. He's been doing a good job of pushing towers and applying pressure. But he kind of needs to get top because Nox has just been sitting up here. But again, that's why he can't really push top, is because Nox has so much farm. And he can't really deal with it alone. He needs kind of the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, he did finish off that steering ladder course, and again, so we always get into this case now. Is it going to be the Dawnbringer? Is it going to be a split up maybe into a Geometer's Bane, something like that? I mean, again, the cool thing about Gemini, obviously, his ultimate does allow him to get out of the route if need be, so he doesn't necessarily need that Shrunken Head or Geometer's Bane against to keep it the force, unlike pretty much every other hero. So, we'll see what he does decide to prioritize here. About 1,900 gold saved up so it's going to be having an answer soon. Warby's bottom lane. Oh, the wards come out. Yes, the tongue set is going to hit. It is at a ward range though. Will it be enough damage? Oh, the final auto attack marksman shot. No, the Calfield cancel from Bubbles, and Warby's will somehow survive. Again, just a little bit of a misplay there for Polywog Priest especially. He did it. He used the tongue shot in time. He wanted to ward first. And just that fraction of a second was enough for Warbeast to kind of skirt on out of there. Very close, though.
Yep, and that's actually pretty big. Although Warbeast, he's been slowly catching up. He was at like 120 GPM for quite a while. Now he's all the way up to 240. So he's been able to get some farm, and he already has the Mighty Blade. So if he can get Shrunken, that'll be pretty big. But again, he's so far behind Gemini. Gemini just finished that Dawnbringer. Gemini's at 520. Jeez. And even Hag is really far behind, so they're not really doing that well in terms of just trying to farm. But Team Excellent not being able to get these kills is actually pretty big, just because they went such early game items.
Yeah.
Pew getting the Codex and with Striders, he hasn't really been able to do much with it.
Okay, the Ice Spirit was on the courier. It was almost delivered to Gemini, but then Rhapsody took the courier, it looks like. So now they are going to find Keeper of the Forest, or they try to, at least, but he's been a little too sneaky here, and he is going to be fine as he used that portal key to go a little bit further. Oh, the Dust Scouts him, actually. They know he's here. Keeper of the Forest in a lot of trouble now. Yep, he is going to be found. And that's going to be an easy kill as a result. So now in the meantime, the bottom tower looks like was denied by Bubbles there, but obviously a kill on Insania, playing the Keeper of the Forest. Good pickup on their part. And now the full Dawnbringer is officially delivered to Gemini in the process. So it really is kind of a funky game right now. I mean, this could have been a 15-minute concede if things went the way of Team Excellent, but they didn't. Team NK persevered. They've escaped some near-death situations, and now a pick on Gemini would really be a big kill right here. Gemini's going to hold his ground. Twin Fix away the last single run as he could, but no, Reginald comes in with a Map Blast. About at what cost right here? With a Sonar Scream, I should say. There's the Codex Burst, and yes, they were going to counter kill at least. They get one. The silence from Scout on a Bubbles with the marksman shot. On top of that, boom, goes the Dynamite, and Les QQ playing the Bubbles does fall. So the big pick on a Gemini, but it does come at a big cost. Warbeast in the meantime at the bottom lane. He barely gets away again against Polywog Priest. But wow, more back and forth, man. I mean, crazy back and forth, especially at the top lane. So they kill Gemini. Does anyone come out on top there, you think?
I don't know. I would say Excellent came out on top there. Seeing that, they had to use a lot to kill Gemini. And I think Excellent will be okay with that. Although he did die, they used both ultis on Hag and Bubbles, as well as the Hellflower and 2 Screams. So it took a lot to kill him. And if he had team support there, he'd be doing just fine. So they did get the kills, and killing Hag's pretty big as well. Both of them being the carries. So I think it was kind of even, but I would still give it to Excellent. And Gemini just picking up that Mighty Blade. It looks like he's going to go for that Shrunken.
Yeah.
Which is really passive. But, I think this just goes back to Nox not having too much experience with Gemini. He hasn't really, utilized the split form, being able to farm the jungle or 2 lanes at a time.
And in the meantime, Keisu again, it's been happening more and more. I mean, he really is aggressive with the Scout, as, a lot of Scout players are, but yeah, he got found and he got killed as a result, so this whole idea of scouting around, as we always say, is definitely coming at a cost here. It's 5 kills, but the 5 deaths on top of that. So again, they can't afford to continue to have that to happen. But at the same time, Gemini's can put it the more defensive route. I will say though, I mean, maybe a little bit has to do even with what fight happened at the top. I mean, you got a Bubbles and especially Wretched Hag now are doing a lot of magic damage. So maybe it's that mentality at least, but. So, but you still would have preferred to see another item in the spot?
Yeah. Typically, when you see a Gemini, that hero is just so strong by itself. You don't really. ideally you don't want to be in your melee form. You don't want to be in this single form because you do more damage in split form. And if you micro it properly, you can stay at pretty much full health. Just keep one dog in the back while they focus the other dog. And I don't even know what happened bottom, but
Yeah.
Bubbles Hag just doing it really well, just constantly picking people off. But yeah, going for Dawnbringer is a little bit strange. It's people just farming in their melee form, but you can just farm with both forms. And going for something like Frostwolf Skull and Geo is a lot stronger. And then that way you don't even need a Shrunken Head.
Yeah. Big burst from Parasite coming out. There's the Gemini follow-up, gets the kill. He's putting some good damage on the Warbeast. Oh, the Twin Fangs hits! The Twin Fangs hit Warbeast, and he gets a double tap as a result. So, man, I mean, as far as the item progression goes, might not agree with that, but at the same, that was beautiful play coming out by him. And obviously the assistance of Parasite definitely helping their big time as well. So, big cleanup, but you also see, again, where Gemini's at right now. He is pretty damn farmed with all of this said. And definitely able to do a lot of damage right there. And then we actually might have more big silence coming up from Scout. Wretchedag's going to be picked off. And holy crap, Team Excellent really is getting the ball rolling once again. Circe maybe live. Okay, he is going to live actually. As Gemini could not follow the chase up the marksman shot. But this is going to be a mid-push now on top of everything else. So finally, Excellent has everything come together here as this mid-game is picked up. And that's going to be a tower kill. So we are going to see a full Shrunken Head finish now on Gemini most likely, as he has enough gold for it. After all of that, a Codex being leveled up. You have Scout now 2,300 gold, so he has a Shrunken Head in the works. And now they go right to Conquer on top of it all. So if they especially get a Token of Life after all of this, and it just went all of a sudden to a huge swing in Excellent's favor once again. I love the penguin. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So
yeah, Team NK not knowing about this is a pretty big problem. Now Gemini's even more of a problem than he already was. Not only do they have to kill him twice now, so and if they have to use all of their spells now just to kill him once, killing him twice is an even bigger problem. But Keeper's getting decent form. So is Warbeast. Warbeast almost has that Shrunken Head. Hag even is working on a Shrunken Head. And Keeper getting, half of a Resto Stone. He has it if he buys it. But Gemini finishing that Shrunken Head.
Yeah.
I guess he's just comfortable staying in melee form, and most likely he'll end up going for a heart. Keizu getting picked off again with this Bubbles Hag. So I guess this was their strategy all along: just get Bubbles and Hag roaming and just get some pickoffs. But it took them a little while to get there, I guess.
Now, I assume you can, but just to clarify, so say if you are split up on Gemini and you want to, go back to the main dog, if you get caught in the root as the split up dog, can you actually go to the main dog and come out of the root as well? It works the same way, right?
To recombine, yeah.
So, okay, that's what I thought. I was going to say maybe there's some logic there that he wants to stay in his main dog form to be able to get out of the root, but yeah, if that's the case, then obviously that wouldn't really have a benefit then, so. But yeah, he has a Shrunken Head nonetheless, and again, we did see how farmed he actually is and how much damage output he is able to put out as a result of even the items that he is going for. So it's still safe to say Excellent, very good spot. The Shrunken, or not the Shrunken Head, but the Token of Life even obviously on top of it all. Very, very big for him. Gemini, not Gemini, but Scout actually, the Shrunken Head also going to be coming out here in the near future. 1,400 gold on Polywog. I assume he was actually going to be going for a tablet command. He's got a Neophyte's book picked up. We'll see what he turns that into. But Circe doing his thing, using that bound die here to kind of go around and scout out some Ward of Sights and see what he can find. But also just using that Doppelganger over and over and over again to constantly get that vision. So, we've talked about Circe when it comes to that. You mentioned the Moon Queen, the Moon Queen strat. We talked about the Solomon combo that we saw that one game where he had the Mock of Brilliance and the illusions were doing that and everything, but lately the couple Circe picks we've had today, haven't really had that synergy as far as being able to get that illusion off of one of his teammates and really work off of it. So I find that interesting, actually. That hasn't been the case. Oh my God, top lane, Gemini's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Sharkins and it lives.
Yeah, if people, kind of just want Circe to, steal a big item or, steal Gemini in this case, or do something like that, and they don't really combo it well with their team. You just see it a lot they usually just rush the eye, counter ward a lot and just throw illusions all over the map. On top of having war beast dogs, they just have so much vision, and so that's why Case is finding a rough spot now. Not really be able to get picks because war beast is able to just farm without his wolves now, so he's using them to scout. And then you have Cersei illusions with an eye all over the map, so a lot of vision coming out from NK. So they're just buying time, but at the same time, the more time that they give to Gemini, the harder it's going to be for them to kill him.
Well, it really is starting to shape up to a game where, you know, you were making the point with that Gemini pick off the bat, how you think it's still even underestimated to an extent as far as what really this late game potential can be like on a hero like Gemini once it gets to that point. So this game, with the way it's been going, we could possibly see it get there if things continue in this direction. Now, as I say that, there might be a fight brewing bottom. That was an illusion, of course, so they quickly pick it off, but that means now they're spotted. And any chance at a gank is kind of full, but they do need to be careful themselves because you got them rolling over. You see Parasite, though, Wild Hunter. He is invis currently. The Bound Eye, though, spotted him probably. And so, again, these trying to ganks, it does get more and more difficult as especially Cersei levels up. And now with the level 3 Doppelganger is able to use that for minimal mana cost. And pretty damn frequently. This tower is going to be pushed in, however. This is the last outer tower remaining that Team xCet is going to have to deal with as far as outer towers, of course. And they're going to still go, because why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Token of Life is still up.
Yeah, they have Token, they have Polyult, which, yep, just throwing it at this tower. They can really force the issue here, because they have so much farm.
Waiting for initiation. There we go. Cersei going to take over. Gemini does just that. Here we go. Cersei has Gemini, so this is the big chance here for the later team. Big ultimate from Rhapsody in the background. Going to be stopped immediately. The Root comes out. The Gemini from Cersei doing work in the background. Picks off Rhapsody. Picks out Polywog. He's going for Scout. Cersei, though, is going to be coming back to his main form very shortly here. He's going against Gemini, but that's Warbeast, actually. I got all confused. I thought that was Cersei. But no, that was Warbeast doing all that. Cersei is actually in the background. She is out of form, and now she's coming back in. But the real Gemini is beating on the melee Rex right here. Scout in the background going for Cersei. Will get the kill right there. As Bubble Zone comes in, and he cleans up on the Scout. Codex is used, but he ports with the Shell Surf. But Gemini doesn't care. He wants the Rax, and he's going to get the Rax. So when it's all said and done, the bigger picture, Team xCet, they definitely come out on top. They're going to get both the Rax right here, most likely. At least they got the melee. What's he going to stand? Oh, he actually stuns in right there. He's going to go for Bubbles. You see Bubbles take cover. Song of the Sea is going to split up. Oh, and that's going to be a lot of damage as well as Parasite. He's going to follow up on a Warbeast. Cannot do enough. The Codex is just out of range. And so he will survive. But there goes the range Rex. And finally the fight will end. So, I mean, that was an ideal start for NK. The fact you're able to take over Gemini, but it obviously wasn't enough.
Yeah. I even got lost there because there was a lot of dogs.
Exactly. The Hellhounds, the Warbeasts. I thought that was actually Gemini for a second, but I guess it was Warbeast. I don't even know, man. But
yeah, but you know, they didn't get use of the token. I mean, they didn't waste it. So, but Gemini has 5.4k. I would assume that he's just gonna get a heart after these ancients, and then at that point, it's gonna be pretty brutal.
yeah.
And Team xCet just playing it right, knowing what to do. All they had to do was kite Gemini. And they just did that. You know, they kind of blew all their spells, and they just let Nox kill the rest of the team while they knew how to deal with Gemini. So they just kited him and tried to, you know, split him a little bit thin. And he only got a lot of damage, as you can see. So, big pick on Keeper here.
Yep, that should be easily executed. You see the taunt even going out from KZ at the last second. Didn't get credit for the kill, but yeah, at least got to throw that up there. But yeah, big kick and big kill indeed, taking advantage of the invis. And yeah, Gemini, 5,900 gold. There you go. There's the right click on the Behemoth's Heart. And all of a sudden, he is very, very hard to kill now, as well as having a lot of damage output, especially with that armor penetration that he gains from all that strength on top of it all. So, Brutalizer is finished by Warbeast. He doesn't have a Demonic Breastplate, though, so, you know, you keep that in mind here with his build. Bottom lane, Wretched Hag gets picked off. Polywog, Priest, and Parasite come together. Polywog doing enough lockdown Parasite with a burst. Sets up an easy kill, most likely, on the Wretched Hag. Hag, does she have a buyback? She does not, actually. So this is huge, even. 65 seconds before she's going to resurrect. So, Team xCet, they have a huge window right here to push in middle. Obviously, NK knows it. So they're already trying to push back as much as they can, but here we go. Gemini's going to push on up in the front ground. Cersei, what about when the dogs are split up? Can Cersei still ulti Gemini? I really thought about that. Yeah, Bubbles in the meantime is going to be chopped on right there. Take cover is going to be used. Root coming out in the background. Gemini doesn't care though. He finally goes back to full form. Cersei's going to try to take him over here. It is stopped though. He could not do it. Parasite bursts her down before she could, and that should be near the end. Folks, you can see coming out. GG, well played. Game number 3 will go to Team xCet. The power of Gemini just too strong. Nox again doing work there. And it's able to help pull through with this team. Obviously, team effort in the end. I mean, all around supporting cast did very well. NK, they hung in there. I mean, they definitely had that bit of a comeback, and it was actually getting to a point where NK felt like they might have been able to do enough for an eventual comeback yet again today, but wasn't to be. Team xCet pulls through, Diglett.
Yep. They played it really well, and they just did what they needed to do, which was just buying time for Nox. And, once he got to the point, once he had that he heart, all he did was he just went split form and walked up into the racks because they couldn't do anything about it. Big pick off on Hag and big pick off on Keeper, and Team xCet played it really well. They played aggressive, and they set out. They did what their draft set out to do. And NK, they almost lost early on, but they pulled through. And kudos to them for staying in the game for as long as they did.
Yeah. It was a fun day, man. I mean, I know you weren't even on the first series, but even the second. I mean, both series, both of them going the 3-game, the distance. We had a lot of fun pickups, a lot of fun matches, and I think last cycle also provided plenty of that. It really is fun where the competitive scene is right now. Honestly, I'm enjoying it. I'm hopefully you guys obviously tuning in are. Or I guess you wouldn't be in the first place. So thank you. Shout out to you guys for tuning in, obviously. And it's going to be another fun finish here for cycle number 10, guys. Again, this is the final cycle here of season number 2, of course, before we enter that all-important playoff stage and eventually see who advances on to the global grand finals. But there's still even plenty of HoN left between then and now. So do not want to miss all that. But that does mean we are going to come to an end here. So after 6 games in the books, 6 great games coming to an end. Obviously, we'll be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Going to be coming back with the losers bracket round 2 as always. With that said, I wanted to check to see if the other series might still be going. It looks like the other series is actually still going on. So if you want to check out twitch.tv/Coldcast, guys, you got Reason Gaming taking on Denali Esports. It looks like they're also in a game number 3. So a lot of game 3s actually happening here. Throughout this cycle so far. That's definitely cool to see when it comes down to it. But anyway, before we do officially wrap up, Diglett, any final words you got, man?
Just thanks for having me. It's always fun. I always appreciate coming on here and giving whatever insight I have. Shout outs to all the viewers. You guys are awesome. Even when I'm not casting, when I'm in chat, you guys always keep it interesting, as well as Breaky being the great caster that you are. Keeping HoN alive, even though it's kind of dwindling, but keeping the HoN scene alive. And congrats to all the players today. Drafting interesting enough, and not picking the same stuff that people keep complaining about. Seeing the same old thing. We see different things. Armadon and a dual laned Hag. Those are the things that maybe unorthodox, but they keep it interesting.
Yeah.
So keep up the fun stuff.
Fun times, man. There's still in my mind, there's still plenty of people watching and tuning to HoN and enjoying it. And that's what matters in the end. So, we don't have the hundreds of thousands of viewers by any means, but hey, 2,400 viewers, I'm happy to see that. I am happy to see that. There's 2,400 people that are out there watching Heroes of New Earth right now and enjoying it, and that works for me. That works for me in the end. So, thank you once again for tuning in, guys. With that said, once again, going to be wrapping up today, but definitely check